Hi, my name is Fatih Sakina. My IDMJ is PC23093. So, today I will be talking about a powerful and eye-opening new series called The Looming Tower, which explores how terrorism is not only fueled by ideology and violence, but also by something less visible like money. So, what exactly is terrorism financing? Terrorism financing is referred to the act of providing funds, like whether directly or indirectly, to support terrorist activity. But it does not just mean handing over money to terrorists. It includes any activity that raises, stores, or transfers money with the intention of using it to support terrorism. These funds can come from both legal and illegal sources, such as fake charities, donation, or even criminal acts like smuggling and fraud. The Lumen Tower is a 10-episode series released on Hulu in 2018. It's based on the best-selling book by Lawrence Wade and is inspired by real events. The story takes us back to the late 1990s, focusing on the growing threat of Al-Qaeda and the internal rivalry between two major U.S. agencies like FBI and CIA. This rivalry and the lack of cooperation between them play a critical role in the failures to prevent the 9/11 terrorist attack. So, what makes this series especially relevant to my topic is how it's shown the financial side of terrorism, some things we don't always see in movies or news reports. In the show, we learn that Al-Qaeda was able to operate globally thanks to a wide network of financial support. They received donations from wealthy individuals, especially from the Middle East. They also set up fake charities and fund organizations to move the money across borders. These funds were then used to plan, train, and carry out terrorist operations, like including the devastating attacks on September 11. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Divya Sri Sangar. My metric number is PC24029. Today I will present the case fact, chronology and description based on episode 5 of the Looming Tower, titled Y2K, which focuses on terrorism financing. In this episode, we see how Al-Qaeda secretly move money to support terrorist activities. This happened before the year 2000. Osama bin Laden and his group used fake charities, offshore bank accounts and legal donations to send money across countries. Many people donated without knowing the true purpose. The money was then used to buy weapons, train fighters, build training camps, and plan attacks like the 9/11 tragedy. The FBI started tracking this illegal financial system. John O'Neill, an FBI agent, led the investigation. His team followed the money trail to stop the flow of terrorist funding. But they faced a big problem. The CIA had information but didn't share it with the FBI. This made it hard for the FBI to act quickly. Because of this, Al-Qaeda kept moving money without being caught. This episode shows how weak financial systems and poor communication between agencies made it easier for terrorist financing to continue. The money was not just a support tool, it was the foundation for building violence. The failure to control it led to serious threats and harm to global security. It reminds us that financial systems must be protected and agencies must work together. One small failure in communication can lead to major risk. That is what happened in the case and why it matters. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and very good day. My name is Clarissa Binti Abdullah and my metric number is PC23076. I am from Group Network. Today I will be presenting a situation analysis on how terrorism financing is portrayed in the series The Looming Tower, which is based on 3 events leading up to the 9/11 attack. This series gives us a close look into how terrorism groups like Al-Qaeda use financial systems both formal and informal to move funds without being detected. Let's look at the 4 key methods used in financing as shown in the series. The first, we have the use of fake Islamic charities. These organizations appear legitimate on the surface, but were actually used to transfer funds to support terrorism. Money that was supposedly for humanitarian aid, such as food, shelter, or education, was secretly redirected to military training camps. This reflects the misuse of charitable status as a way to launder money for terrorism, hiding illegal activity behind a socially acceptable fund. The second one is Hawala, an informal and traditional money transfer system used widely in some regions. In the series, Al-Qaeda relied on Hawala to move money across borders because it doesn't go through banks and has no transaction records. Hawala transfers are untraceable and anonymous. This made it very difficult for authorities to detect or block the movement of terrorism funds. Third, the series shows how terrorist networks use intermediaries like students, migrant workers, or small businesses owners to move funds. They transfer money through multiple personal accounts, which made the transactions look like normal financial activities. This is a strategy called layering, which helps the hide origin and final destination of the money, reducing the chance of rising suspicions. And lastly, we see the role of wealthy donors, high net worth individuals from the Middle East. Made large donations to Al-Qaeda, these donations were often made in cash or through legitimate financial channels. Disguised as a religious or charitable giving, this shows how ideological support can turn into financial backing, further fueling terrorism under the cover of legitimacy. In conclusion, the looming towers reveals how terrorist groups use a combination of charities, informal networks, intermediaries, and ideological donors to fund violence operations without detection. It also highlights the importance of international cooperation, financial intelligence, and regulatory framework in identifying and disrupting this financing channel before they lead to devastating outcome. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. My name is Nur Syahira binti Zahari. My ID number is PC23068. I will present about the law and acts broken in the Looming Tower. Now, let's look at the major law that were broken in the Looming Tower. These laws are designed to protect national security and prevent terrorism financing. The first one is USA Patriot Act 2001. This law strengthens financial monitoring to prevent terrorism financing. In this episode, Al-Qaeda used fake charities, channel, and secret account to transfer funds. Next, International Emergency Economic Power Acts (IEEPA) 1977. These acts gave the U.S. government power to freeze assets and prohibit transactions with terrorists. Al-Qaeda used foreign channels to move funds for the terrorism. And the last one is Anti-Terrorism and Effective Penalty Acts (AEDPA) 1996. Prohibit any financial or material support to terrorism organization. In this episode, Al-Qaeda received external support. That's all for me. Thank you.
I'm Amsawardini, numeric PC23246. Now I'm going to explain about how the ethical issue case take place based on the issue experience. First ethical issue is information withholding between agencies. In this series, the CIA under Meredith Smith refuses to share key intelligence with the FBI. This includes details about Al-Qaeda operative entering the US, failure to prioritize public safety over agency pride and secrecy. It's allowed terrorist operatives to act without being detected in time. Second ethical issue is failure to track financial activities. Terrorist networks often move money through seemingly legitimate organization or informal system like Hawala. These networks were not probably monitored due to lack of prioritization, neglecting an important part of counterterrorism because of political reasons. By not investigating these financial networks, the US overlooked key warnings. Third ethical issue is silencing whistleblowers. FBI agent John O'Neill repeatedly raised alarms about Al-Qaeda. Despite his knowledge and urgencies, he was undermined and eventually pushed out. Disregarding warnings from within the system due to ego, politics, or personal conflicts, this shows a systematic systematic failure in ethical leadership and communication. Now I am going to explain about how ethical issue case could be overcome. First mitigation is interagency intelligence sharing. Mandatory system for real-time information sharing across agencies like FBI, CIA and NSA. This could be prevent competition and secrecy that can enable terrorism. For example, a unified counter-terrorism database accessible to all national security stakeholders. Second mitigation is strengthen financial intelligence units. Establish and fund specialist units to monitor financial activities tied to terrorism. These teams analyze suspicious transactions, charity misuse, and cross-border transfers. Their work is critical in identifying and stopping terror funding early. Third mitigation is ethic training for intelligence officers. Intelligence personnel should receive regular training in ethical decision making. Must emphasize national interest over agency rivalry or personal gain. Long-term impact for this mitigation is build a culture of trust, responsibility and coordination. That's all, thank you.
I will continue with lesson learned from the case. First is ethical lapse have serious consequences. Unethical financial behavior can lead to legal action, financial loss and damage to reputation. Second is transparency is key. Clear and honest financial reporting help prevent misunderstanding and build trust. The third is internal control method. Strong policies and checks can help detect and prevent unethical practice. The fourth is education on ethics is essential. Regular training ensure individuals understand what is right and wrong in financial decision. The next is leadership sets the tone. Ethical behavior must start from the top. The leader must lead by example. The last is short-term gains can lead to long-term damage. Cutting corner for immediate benefit often lead to bigger losses later. That's all. Next is importance of practicing financial ethics. First is build trust. Ethical financial practice create confidence among clients, investors, and employees. The second is ensure accountability. Help individuals and organizations take responsibility for financial action. The third is prevent fraud and corruption. Encourage honest behavior and reduce unethical activities like embezzlement or manipulation. Fourth is support fair decision making. Promote fairness in budgeting, spending, and reporting. The last is protect reputation and career. Upholding ethics maintains credibility and avoid scandals that could damage careers or business. So let's talk about impact of ignorance of financial ethics. First is legal penalties. Ignorance can lead to violation of laws, resulting in fines or imprisonment. The second is loss of trust. Client and investor may lose faith, causing loss of business or support. The third is financial loss. Poor ethical decisions can lead to fraud, mismanagement, and eventual financial ruin. Next is damage to reputation. Once credibility is lost, it's difficult to regain public or professional trust. The last is organizational collapse. Repeated unethical behavior can lead to the downfall of a company or institution.